Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Gebo the Shaman, and today we are discussing what is the true, real meaning of life, which I've been writing a book about for the past few months. I wanted to write a book about like my experience on the true meaning of life. So I wrote a book out on it, and I'm continuously, trying to add to that and wrap it up. So today we're going to talk about the meaning of life. What is the true purpose or meaning of life? And also discerning our spiritual path. There's a lot of questions that I've been getting about our spiritual path and what that means and how to choose your spiritual path or like how to begin on that. So, I take a fairly non-traditional stance in these kind of things, and I'll explain to you in this video why that is. So let's begin with just the first part, which is what is the true meaning of life? The true meaning of life is, well, your soul came here for a purpose, and that purpose is to follow what brings you the highest amount of joy and bliss and happiness in your life. Now, some people will say, "Oh, great. That means I get to follow my highest joy, my highest bliss. Okay, I'm gonna shove some illegal substances in my arm." And I'm like, "No. No, don't do that. That's not How do you feel after that? Like, druggies feel horrible after that. It's like, so that's not the right thing to do. Um, when I talk about following your highest bliss and joy, I'm talking, you know, people can choose what they feel like they would make them happy long term, and that's great. And some people can nail that down. They'll be just asking their soul. They'll go meditate. Soul, like, talking to my soul, what is it that I really would like? What is it that you would like? And what is it that gives you happiness and joy? And asking for that to be revealed. That could be a very simple meditation. In fact, if you join my Patreon, patreon.com/Gebo the Shaman, I have a course that takes you through that. It's called the Midday Practice on my uh on my self-transformation challenge. So that's that. Um and in the midday practice, I actually have a whole meditation that takes you through these things. And it gets you in the right mindset, right state of mind, and yeah, it's just a beautiful experience, and some people can pick it up like that, it's like boom, they know what they're supposed to do in this life, and it's like just a matter of asking their soul what they're going to do. And so the whole purpose of life is finding that, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this, or this is the thing that gives me the greatest amount of joy and bliss and happiness. Is Could be surfing, could be painting, could be roller skating or rollerblading, could be soccer, could be hockey, could be writing books. I really do enjoy, when I make myself write, because it puts me into this state of mind that, it's just really, it's like meditative and contemplative and just really Like, what am I really trying to say here, trying to get on paper? So that, that brings me a bit of happiness and a bit of joy and just putting that creative piece together. So, yeah, I mean, whatever it is for you, if you grew up surfing and you love to surf, go do more of that. And the other thing is, hey, it doesn't have to be for a, for an income. I mean, you know, it's funny because, actually, speaking of this, so whenever you're thinking about, oh, okay, what can provide me joy, don't worry about whether it brings you money. Just just doing the thing that brings you joy for the sake of the joy is that's when you're in a better state of mind, that's naturally going to bring money to you and opportunities to you. And so, so that's the goal, is to be in this heightened state of mind, this happiness, blissful enjoyment. And even if you can just get contentment from something, like, yeah, that really makes me feel like I could just relax and just do this one thing, and um so yeah, if you can just get to contentment, that's a great accomplishment and achievement. um and also, I just wanted to recommend to you my spiritual teacher's book. You can find his YouTube channel at, YouTube. Search YouTube for Thunder Wizard. He's a bald guy and he has a goatee. It's easy to spot. He's easy to, to search for. So, yeah, and also his book you can get on Amazon. You can go to michaelwilliamdenney.com as well. That'll take you to the Amazon page, and his book is called The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. And that book I found really helpful. Really, because it includes some meditations in there. It includes like some, words of advice and how he's even changed from following this technique that he gives. And yeah, it's really, I found for my own life and, in the lives of others, I've even seen it at work. Like, just this thing of, oh, I'm just gonna do what makes me happy today. I don't really need to worry about other people. You know, a lot of us are hung up on other people and making sure they're okay, when it's like, well, yeah, you should prioritize yourself. Um and it's interesting, this idea of prioritizing the self, one's own self, uh because it's a teaching tool. It's a learning lesson. And, you know, so for example, when you're putting your own joy ahead of another person's, um, let's say, a homeless person wants you to drive them to wherever, to McDonald's or whatever, and you say, no, I can't do that right now. I have a appointment with the beach, to go surfing. And it's just like, you know, that person will learn, oh, so that's what I should be doing too, is, and that might just be on an unconscious level, which is like, oh, he's really following his joy, I should do the same thing. And it's a learning lesson. So, but yeah, you know, as I've said, like, the point of life, the whole journey of life, is to find the things that make you happy and joyful and blissful, and 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 it's all just a search for those things. And, don't worry about the things that bring you down. A lot of people see you came here for a certain reason, and I know that because you wouldn't be here if you had no reason to be here. That's why a lot of the near-death experience folks, they say, oh, yeah, I want to go back. I have unfinished business. And it's like, I want to experience the joy of being a human. Huh. And so, so that's why we're all here. Nobody is without a purpose. Nobody is without a goal, a mission for their life. And all of our missions are the same in the sense that the purpose of life is to seek joy, but also that joy could be in different things. And like I said earlier, I talked about the difference between true bliss and joy and happiness and things that are going to hurt us in the long run, in the long end, like drugs, alcohol, sex addiction, uh, porn use, whatever it is. All of those things are going to hurt us in the long end. And it's like, you wake up from a long night of drinking and you're like, oh God, what did I do? Your head is hurting. You're like, oh shit. And so it tells you maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Maybe it hurts for a reason because that's not what you're supposed to be doing. And, you know, so, so yeah, that's the purpose of life. And I feel like I'm rambling here trying to get to a outcome, but, I will move on. So that's, I guess we'll move on to the second topic, which is how can I find my spiritual path in life? And that question is as complicated as anything. um, because who's to say? Who's to say that you have the right path or on the right path or not? It's really like, for example, if someone would say, "Oh, figure out what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life," I'm like, I can't do that. Only you know that. Only you are this one who's supposed to like figure that out for yourself. I can't jump into your brain and figure it out for you. Although I do have life coaching sessions which will help you actually find out what your soul desire is. So check out the life coaching sessions. Those are super valuable. Whatever your life situation is, I do spiritual counseling and life coaching, and so it's pretty great. I have a lot of wonderful clients, and it's that's really something that I do love doing, is talking with people and being emotionally intimate. And in society nowadays, well, it was this way long before us, but like in society, you would kind of put that cloak over yourself, like, oh, I can't trust this person to reveal who I truly am or what I truly think or believe. It's all supposed to be all like respectable, and you can't reveal too much because then, oh gosh, what if he is friends with my boss? you know it's like it's like a whole charade of just putting on a mask and playing your part in society, and that's not what life is about. you know i've I've seen it. I've lived. My mother worked is working like in the workplace and in a professional environment, and everyone is like, oh, very professional, and they can't just be themselves because they're too busy like putting on a you know, professional like uh you know, camouflage. so so but you are designed to be you, and don't hide that from anyone. You know, everyone has their own unique abilities and gifts and talents, and like no one path is the same for everyone, you know. Religion will tell you, "Oh, here's the path. I am the path. I am the, you know, Jesus is the way, the whatever, blah blah blah." And it's just like, no, that's not how it works at all. And so, we get into these, oh, if I don't do this perfectly, then I'm not good enough, and oh, I have to become a monk. You know, my path is to become a monk. I have to go to the hilltop and bow to the guru and pray 7 times a day and only live off of beans and rice and go down to the village every day with my lot cup and, for donations and a backpack for, food donations and vegetable donations and all that. And you're pretty much living off of, other people's kindness. And it's, don't get me wrong, that's a very, you talk about hard way to live. That is a very hard way to live. Being a monk, being a sadhu, being a spiritual person, in that capacity, I should say. So, hold on. Alright, sorry guys. I had to pause it there. Cause my dog is a crazy. So, but yeah, as I was saying, was past, spiritual paths. And so, for me, like, there's many spiritual paths. Some people have great families and can incorporate into, higher frequency, higher spiritual stuff, no problem. And their spiritual path might only consist of like, yoga, meditation, very easy things. But for people who are kind of have a mindset that's working against them to achieve those higher states of consciousness, they'd stay in lower states of consciousness, which is like fear, anxiety, anger, sadness, things like that. And their brain is like, you know, we can't get a, like telling them we can't get out of this. So, you know, and some of those people might be prone to drug use, alcohol use, things like that. And so, it's like some people have to use what's called a 12-step program. And I used one, and it's great. It helped me a lot in a lot of areas. Not that I was addicted to substances, but it was something else going on in my life. And if you research the channel a lot, you'll probably find out what it is. So, yeah, anyway. So some people, their spiritual path is doing 12-step programs. And sometimes there's some people, like, for example, if certain people in India will do this, they'll, they'll promise their firstborn son to Buddha or whatever, or Vishnu or whatever, to go be a monk, to go be an ascetic. And so that's what they'll do. They'll train him from birth to be a monk. And so that's like a preordained kind of a spiritual life. Like, okay, you know what you're gonna do. You're gonna do this. But Mom, I want a party. Well, you're gonna be a monk, so oh well. And so those are very organized, very tight. Like, there's not a lot of wiggle room in that. And so, like, some people have this upbringing from the very beginning. Some people go through drug abuse, alcoholism, sex addiction, blah blah blah, this and that, and they're a mess, and they're homeless, and they're all kinds of messed up. And then what happens is they find the 12 steps. They gradually, and 12 steps, by the way, is a spiritual program, and anyone can do it. If you have a dysfunctional family, you can do it. There's called something like adult children of alcoholics and dysfunctional families, so everyone qualifies. And there's also a program called Codependence Anonymous, which is, if you want healthy and loving relationships, you qualify for that program as well. So there is no excuse of, oh, like, I don't want to do that, or like, I don't qualify, or I don't belong there. There is great knowledge and great spiritual abundance. If you really want to grow spiritually, do the 12 steps. I dare you. It is the most challenging thing you'll ever experience. Believe me, because I did it. And it's like pushing a rock uphill, but then the moment you get to get done with like the 4th and 5th step, you're like, oh shit, I can do this, all right. It's like, whew. But let's see here. Try not to bump the mic. So yeah, it's, people have different spiritual paths. Some people do well just meditating. Some people need what's called tantra, like spiritual practice. There's people that lack a lot of the spiritual energy to even connect, to even reach to the frequencies, the higher frequencies. So they need qi, they need qigong, they need these spiritual practices, like qigong. There's a special form of qigong that I've learned from my spiritual teacher and qigong master, and they are available right here. So you have the Cosmic Qigong and the Self-Transformation Challenge. If you're interested, if you're feeling your energy is a little bit lacking, like, I'm sluggish, I don't have the energy to like do things, and so it's a chore, and I can barely get myself out of bed. You need to do Qigong, and it's the simplest form of meditation. Qigong is a meditation. And how do I know that? Because everyone says, oh, in order to meditate, you need to achieve what? A state of mental silence. The mind, clearing of the mind. And guess what? When you start doing those Qigong sets, what does it do? It clears the mind. It's an active form of meditation because you're moving and you're breathing in synchronicity with your movements. And what does that do? It brings focus. It brings attention. It brings balance to the current moment. And when you do that stuff, I'm telling you, it'll change your life, you know. I started doing it, and I had at one period of time I had, oh, this isn't for me. I don't know, and then I started getting lethargic again, and that's not good. So what did I have to do? Had to build that jing up, build that chi up, build that chen up. These are all different form of energies within the body. So a lot of people hear of chi, energy, life force energy, but then they don't know about shen, or they don't know about yi, or jing. Some people know about jing, but yeah, if you don't know what that is, go look it up. And this might be something that I get into talking about at a future time, but anyway, I hate to get into the weeds, but I kind of like it. Kind of like to indulge in it a bit, but not too far. So, Anyway, so spiritual paths. There's there's spiritual practices like meditation, yoga. There's all of which, by the way, I have over here. You should be checking these courses out. GeboTheShaman.com. And then so there's yoga, there's qigong, there's meditation, there is I'm doing currently creating a guided meditation course. And so, there's a lot of tools out there. There's a lot of paths. Why not experiment? Why not try things? It's it's like a smorgasbord. It's like a buffet. It's like pick your own thing. If you like crystals and rocks and diamonds and, geodes, hey, by all means, indulge in crystals. If you like, mantras even, there's mantras. I am a mantra master. I've learned to do mantras from just your astrology chart, so if you get a astrology reading from me, I can go through your astrology chart and say, here is your perfect mantra. There you go. Do that for the rest of your life. It'll help you, it'll empower you, it will get you working with the planet and the deity that loves you and wants to take care of you. So yeah, there are many spiritual paths and there's many spiritual tools. There's different spiritual traditions as well. For example, there's, Celtics, there's Norse, all of these different peoples and races, if you want to call them that. We're all human race. We're all one human race in my eyes. Everyone is equal. Oh, since that person looks different from you, oh gosh, they're a different race. No, we're all the same human race. Doesn't make a difference what someone's color is or where they come from in the world. We're all humans. That's how I see it. And so, different regions of the world had different practices. Indians had their own practices. And if you, like, for example, I know that it's kind of mainstream or well known that a lot of people of color, meaning like non-white, not non-European, have very well known religious traditions. You have the Indians, the Native Americans with their Native American spirituality. You have Indians, as in from India, which is like Hinduism. You have Shaikhism. You have Sikhism. You have Buddhism, Zen spirituality. You have Zoroastrianism, things like that. All kinds of shapes and sizes of spirituality. But if you are one of those people of of a European race or region of the world, and if you were trying to find your own spirituality, your own spiritual path, and want to relate to that of your ancestors, because my ancestors came from Spain and that area, by the I think they're somewhat related to the Visigoths, somewhere around there. I forget. But yeah. So what did I do? I practiced Norse mythology. I practiced Norse spirituality. I have that implemented into my spirituality. In fact, I learned from a Norse teacher. So, but it's really implementing all aspects of shamanism, all aspects of spirituality into one. And it's like syncretic shamanism, which is very interesting to get into, because you see it's like looking into the history of symbols and objects and what they mean. And if you ever see a eight-sided thing, like looks like a compass, well, some people call that the Norse thunder wheel, or the helm of awe. But also, some people call that the what is that? Ashtanga yantra. Look that up. Ashtanga yantra and helm of awe, or thunder wheel. And you'll see, oh wow, those are the same thing. And that's like how shamans, how like interdisciplinary shamans, how they kind of see things throughout, okay, this relates to this, and this relates to this. So we'll take this as a system and this as a system and combine them together, and poof. Just like if you look at the Helm of Awe and the runes. So, like, there's a special system of putting those together. Anyway, drifting off into the weeds again, as I tend to do. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of spiritual paths. Whatever floats your boat. I have a strong disposition towards some, and less so than others. But it's really just like a, mix your own kind of thing, and the beauty of this is, like, it's personal, it's subjective, so you get to choose what feels right to you. I would highly recommend also going to Thunder Wizard on YouTube. Search that up. And you can actually learn a lot from this guy. He has thousands of videos on his channel talking all about deep spirituality. So check that out. Alright, guys. So, let me just take a peek. Okay, sounds good. So, yeah, I hope this helped you guys and answered your question. And if it did, please leave a thumbs up. A like would help the channel. And also, if you want to be updated, I I'm trying to get back on the horse again and upload more videos. I've kind of taken a break for a while, but it's good to be discussing things that are not astrology. I've kind of outgrown that, as you can see. So, yes, I still love astrology, but it's just you can only talk about so much in astrology before it gets old. And it's just like, oh, again, another astrology video. And I know, it's like an evergreen thing. More and more people are coming onto the channel looking for astrology topics and things like that can help them in their own charts, and I know that. So, it's just like, I'm still doing astrology readings. I still love talking with clients and doing astrology readings, and yeah, those are always fun to me. Looking at an individual's chart. Yeah, I love that stuff. But the repetitive videos kind of just gotten old for me. So yeah. Anyway, guys, please do go to my website, gebotheshaman.com, and you can see my Patreon and everything. All the links are listed there. And you can also go to patreon.com/gebotheshaman. And I do have like all kinds of things that I mentioned right here. Distance energy healing, life coaching, I have astrology readings. I have a Patreon page. I have these Qigong courses, all of which you can get at gebotheshaman.com. Alright, guys, I love you guys very much. Peace to you and namaste. I hope you guys are well and treating yourselves well. Alright, guys, love you guys. Take care. And remember, you come first. So, bless yourself. Do something good for yourself. Alright? Peace. Gotta switch it over to my other thing.